We need to do some landscape. This is what's here. It doesn't grow anything. I mean, this has been this way since we got here. Once we cleared the brush out, nothing grows. It's like this super sandy soil. And it's hard. There's all kinds of roots. So we've got some work to do here, but we need to get some green in here, big time. Now that the house is done, we're getting very tired of this landscape. The woods are okay. We've got the ivy that I mow down every so often, just to keep it in check. But we need some grass. We need a better parking area. This is all ivy over here. This side of the house, we need to pull some of this earth back, kind of protect this camellia bush, because we want that to stay. But again, sandy soil, bad grading. I pulled stuff out of here a couple years ago to pull it away from the house because it's rotting the house, the siding. But there's more work to be done there. And lots of little stumps like this from all the stuff that was cut down. And yeah, we need some planting beds. I think we're going to do some edging and stone for mulch. And I hate mulch. It gets dirty. If we put in stone, then we don't have to put in gutters, because the drip will go into the stone. It won't splatter up in the house like this. Roots. It just needs a lot to make it something. I got started with Doug, our mini excavator, to dig out the old, narrow, crooked brick walkway leading to the house. The bricks were just set into the dirt, so were easy to loosen and dig out. We picked up the bricks by hand, and I dumped them in the woods out of the way as a temporary measure. I spent so much time getting rid of my uncle's numerous stashes of recycled brick and masonry over the past few years, so I hated starting a new pile. Maybe we'll reuse them for something sometime soon down the line, or else I'll bring them to a stone and concrete recycling place if I get sick of them. I'm betting on the recycling next year. For now, anyway, they were out of the way. In what I call the front of the house, is where the front door is. We'd already unearthed and removed by hand remnants of some old concrete edging, but the earth level was too high to leave as is. It was below the level of the wood siding, but would be too high to add stone unless we pulled out some of the old material. I did this in a couple stages with Doug, unearthing and pulling free lots of tangled roots. Because the ground angled quite sharply down away from the house, there was plenty of room to spread the spoils around. Every shovelful pulled out more roots, with more attached to those roots, and so forth. What a mess. Most of these roots were left over from the invasive ivy that had overcome the property in the past decades. I picked up all the roots I could by hand to get rid of them. This was a constant battle over the coming days, and I had to cut a lot of the roots with an old pruning shear to release their brutal grip on the ground. I used the 755 to even out the dirt I'd pulled away from the house. The next day, looking over the next section and what I'd done the day before, I decided to pull a bit more dirt out from the first side, as I'd been pretty conservative as I figured out exactly what I was doing and what the plan was. I needed a little more depth to accommodate the edging in stone. This also helped me start to level out the area just outside of the house beds, where we planned to walkway. And while we'd never get it fully flat and level, the excess dirt, once I spread and smoothed it, provided a better base. Then I moved on to the second section on the other side of the door stoop. I dug out roughly the same amount of earth here, bringing the two future beds to the same depth on either side of the concrete door pad. I used the iron rake to smooth the dirt and start creating a relatively flat area for the future walkway, but also to pull out any loose roots for collection. On the north side of the house, this is what we started with, a barren sandy landscape. The first requirement was to bring down the ground next to the house and away from the siding, and to promote drainage down towards the creek on the east or far side. We'll bring this down to the same elevation as the front beds, then figure out how to make that work with the higher area to the left and around the camellia bush. As I removed material and more roots, I also tried to start shaping up the land, piling excess dirt to the right, just off camera where I could use it later. I had to do some hand digging right next to the house so as to avoid damage to the siding, and also to work around a pair of electrical ground rods with a connecting wire that ran next to the house. As well as right between the bush and the house, where I could only get so far with Doug. I hand dug around several wire conduits leading out of the house. Now that I'd gotten the dirt away from the house and the tight spots, I could use Doug to clean up the roughly 3-foot wide space where the planting bed would go between the camellia bush and the house. I eased Doug around and down the slope towards the far corner of the house. The grade was pretty steep here, and I'd not originally thought I wanted to take the machine down there. But as I gained confidence, I decided I could do it, at least to a point, and I wasn't going to hand dig all that out. This huge root fought me to the end. I tried several different angles, couldn't pull it free or break it off. The steep ground made it too dicey to try further, so I finally had to give it the win. That was short-lived because we had other tools in our arsenal. Eventually, Heidi dug it out more by hand and sawed it off. It was 4 or 5 inches in diameter at the base. This camellia bush is kind of dictating our landscape here. We like it, we want to keep it. So I've dug out inside of it and scraped the ground down on the outside a bit. To try and integrate these landscape features. This is all rough grade. But we've carried this around from the front of the house to the side, which brings that several inches down along the house, which is good. And the goal was to get it to drain down the slope towards the water over this way. And I've removed a little material from the top of this rise, leaving the camellia bush, which we're going to edge in somehow. And I've shaped this down so that it comes out into this area, which will eventually be walkway and lawn, and then into the house, where there will be a planting bed and rocks along the house and grass up to that, I imagine. In front of the house, the beds are cleared out and several inches lower than they were before, ready for edging and stone. And the ground is flatter just outside the stoop and running down either side of the house from there, all the better for our walkway. Outside the walkway, the ground slopes down to the rough near the water at a mobile angle. All in all, not a bad start to the project, but there was a lot more to come.